Please subscribe to my channel. The more subscribers I have, then it gives us the ability to do more and better videos. So please subscribe. You'll be the first on the list to see what new videos we have way before anybody else sees it. And YouTube is changing some of their strategies, so some of the videos may not be seen for a couple of weeks, but as a subscriber, you'll see that first thing. Please subscribe. This is actually, for Canada, this would be number 1. For the US, it would probably be number 3. So I'm going to call this number 2 of 10. So this is one of the top 5 locks you're going to pick for sure. So you're going to run across. Now, one thing I recommend that beginner locksmiths do, and even this is, I get this all the time. It's nice to know what type of lock you're going to pick. And we're lucky, and this one says Weiser. This one says nothing. And there's all sorts of offshore copies of the Weiser lock and the keyway. Beginner locksmiths, and even some other locksmiths, they always say, well, what sort of lock am I picking? And it's really, I think it's really important to know what sort of lock you have, so then you know the different techniques. Now, this is a Weiser, but I recommend you have a quickset key, a Weiser key, and a slage, or slag. So then you try the different keys. Then you know what sort of lock you have, because and this one has the name Weiser on it. There's no name on this, and there's Weiser on this one. And also there's lots of copies of the Weiser lock because it's so popular, and the keyway. So it's nice to know what sort of lock you're dealing with, whether it could be an original or a copy. If I take the slag key, it's not going to fit in. Now we know it's not going to turn. I just want to know what sort of lock this is. So if I don't know what it is, like this one here, so it's definitely not a slag key. Now this is the most popular, so this is a SC1. Some people call it the C. So you should have that in your toolkit. So you should have a slag key, C keyway, or the common keyway they call it, and the key blanks can say SC1 on it, and sometimes just C. The next one, or the number 1 you should have in your kit, would be a quickset, and it could be called a KW1 key. And there's 2 most popular. Well, the most popular is the 5-pin, and then we're seeing a lot of the 6-pin now. So you want to see if it fits in. Now, what's interesting with this, the quickset key will go inside of the Weiser locks. But the Weiser key, so I got 2 keys going in this lock. I got a Weiser, but the Weiser key will not go inside the quickset lock. You think it's a quickset, check it, take the Weiser keyway, key blank, and we just want to see if it fits. So we know this is a Weiser or a W1. Sometimes it's called WR3. Again, very, very common. You should have this in your kit. Now, if you looked at my videos, I'm a bit of a rake and feel method, or the single pin picking. And my favorite picks always have been, I like a solid tension wrench, not a flexible one, but I switch back and forth. And then, and there's a whole pile. This is a Peterson, excellent picks. This is a Rytan, and I have a huge collection of different picks. But what I like to do is I like to tackle the lock, kind of like the Rytan. There's a little. This one's more solid, made out of a better steel. I don't know. I just kind of like this one. I got to bend it every now and then, get it back into shape. But I like to. The Weiser keyway is a large profile in there. Lots of room to play. And if you saw the pick board, I've set up pick boards. These are very easy to pick. Then when I go on to my other locks to practice on, these are locks that are nothing special here. They're just regular keyed up, and I have some other ones keyed tougher. But again, this is just show you the most popular locks to pick open. I like to go from the top. And again, I rake it a couple times. And, this one was just ready to go, so it's 5 pins in there. I just raked it, it picked it open. I would like to rake it twice, and then I'll single pin pick it. Now, the big mistake people make is when they want to open this door, they try to use their tension wrench. Just take out any little flathead screwdriver and just save your picks. Oops. Now, this is interesting. Now, does it work from the inside? Yeah. So this is interesting. It picks. It's actually a faulty lock. Let's just try it, just so you know. So this is interesting. If the customer had a key and it picked, look at that. Everything seems to be fine. It just seems so the tailpiece has been put in wrong, or it's fallen off, or there's a fault in the lock. We don't know. A very common problem with the inexpensive locks is a failure of the tailpiece or failure of the bolt. So, and some of these brands are seeing 30% failure rate. In the next video, we're going to show you how to open that when you get a problem like that. If you have a customer key and the customer key only goes so far, what's the use of picking it? You've already known it's a malfunction. So let's see if we get this one's the proper one. I like this pick better. And again, I like to come from the top. And don't be afraid, I didn't get this really quick, so I'll just take the tension off it again. Rake it a couple times. That's why I like to hook, or this is called the DeForce or the diamond hook. I mean, apply tension. Actually, this thing's really crappy inside. Again, this is real life locksmithing picking. Weisers are pretty easy to pick, but you get one that just gives you a little bit of trouble. It's nothing fancy in there. I can just tell. There's no high-low in there. This just needs a shot of WD. Let's see if we can count them all. I'll use a different pick for this. I'll use a diamond. So what I'll do is I'll turn my pick upside down, and I'll just push all the pins up, and I'll go to the back, push all the pins, and I'll count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So they're all moving. Well, that 3 is a little jam. So when I lift it up, I can hear each one going click, 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 and number 3 is like, so it's not, number 3 is my problem pick. And even though it's an easy lock to pick, if you got a pin in there that's sticking, you're not going to be able to pick this without lubrication, and occasionally nothing will work. So again, we'll show that on the other video. Now I also get people saying, how do you know which way to pick? Most deadbolts, you pick towards the hinge. So if I want to open this, pick this open, you see here, I picked it towards the hinge would be here. Here's the locking part. Pick it towards the hinge, it's picked open. And we open the door. See, this is real life. Everything you go up to does not pick right away. These are practice. These are meant to be picked. These are just out of the bucket. Throw them on the board, practice picking. And we don't know what the problem is inside. But this is what you could run across. You go to the job, it's not opening. So let's get some WD. When I'm picking a lock, WD-40 is a penetrating oil. I've got lots of videos on this. Just my personal preference, I can't pick the lock, I'll put WD-40 in it. Once I've rekeyed the lock, I'll put in Tri-Flow. WD-40 is a penetrating oil, not a lubricant. Some people like Houdini, there's Key Saver. There's a lot of very good products. I just like Tri-Flow, so I use that. So again, I take some WD. Now you don't have to put a lot into it. Just a little zerp like that. Give it a spray, just wipe it off there. Again, I like to come from the top. Again, this is real world picking. You go to the customer site, you don't know what condition the lock's in. It's nice to have, and I like to practice picking on a board, or actually on a door mock-up. I'm gonna go rake, rake. I apply light tension. I think we've talked about if this was a covert entry, we wouldn't be spraying WD-40. We just keep on hacking away at it, because in covert entry, you're not to leave any sign that you've picked the lock. Of course, take the lock apart, you're going to see some marks from the picks, under a microscope or a magnifying glass. In locksmithing, spend 5 minutes, you don't get it, then hey, we're in the profit business. We're not going to sit here and pick this forever. Here we will, because this is my practice. But in the real world, I would just drill that. I'd give it 5 minutes. I know some people want to do it 2 minutes. I'll go 5 minutes. I will get this. I'm positive I'm going to pick it. So I'll just shake it up a little bit. I'm just going to apply different tension to pick it. Sometimes different tension will work. Look at that. Look at that. Now, I don't know. Now, this is a good example too. So I couldn't pick it the proper way to unlock it. So I picked it towards locking it. So if I keep on turning it, it's not going to do anything. Now I don't want to pick this thing again because this has been a real pain. So it's a plug spinner. What it will do, I'm going to spin this counterclockwise because I wanted to go clockwise. And the button releases on the back. This is really old, this one. This is like, oh geez, this one's 25 years old. So go here. Now this went so fast, it actually pulled the, knocked it to the unlock position. Weisers are extreme, and the offshore Weisers are extremely easy to pick. We had a little bit of trouble with this. I could feel one of the pins was messed up inside. I think it was the third one. We put WD-40, still gave me some trouble. I thought, well, I'll just pick it the other way. Pick the other way. It could have been by chance, or it could have been. I have had locks that would not pick unlocked, and I could pick them locked all day long, and I couldn't unlock it, pick to the unlock position. So this was one of those examples. So this is really good. So again, this is in Canada. I would say this is number 1. In the U.S., I think it's about number 3. And they're not making this keyway as much anymore. Quickset bought Weiser, so they're replacing everything. You'll still sometimes it says Weiser, but it is the Quickset keyway, not the Weiser keyway. So get yourself the 3 most popular keys: Weiser, Quickset, and Schlage, and get a little M1 key or M92. Get them. It's the master padlock key. You should have one of those kicking around for your padlocks. We're going to get to that in the next series, but this is part of the series, the 10 most popular locks. We're going to have, this one will be in the series when it's, what happens when you can't pick it. That'll be a different series, but this is part of the 10 most popular locks that a locksmith will run across to pick, different from Locksport, and get these keys. And remember, the Quickset key will fit in the Weiser, but it reverse. The Weiser will go in there, and the Weiser won't go in the Quickset, but you'll see that on the next series of locks here. And we'll show this in another video on troubleshooting. This will be in the troubleshooting series. But what happens if the lock is installed upside down? And a lot of times they're installed upside down, and the way to tell it is when we get into the inner workings of the lock. But so let's say here's a key that we have, and we got the cuts are here. This is the proper way the lock should be. That's installed right, the proper way. If it was upside down, we'd have to put the key in like that. And on most North American locks, this is the proper way to do it. If it is installed upside down and you have to pick it, you sort of got to reverse what you're doing. And we'll show an example on that on the next series.